Good morning, everybody. How are we all? Yes, twice in a week. Been having to think about what we're going to be doing this season, and I'm going to change it up a little bit because I thought, well, we'll still keep our traditional Tuesday show going, having a good bitch moan about what happened in the previous weekend. But what we thought we would do now is bring you a special Thursday edition. Why? Because we've got all the team lists. We can really dive into who's going to win the rugby this weekend. And because my mighty Hurricanes are starting this weekend, I thought I'd pull out my oldest jersey, mighty Hurricanes. And looks a little bit like the new jersey they've got out. But anyhow, I'm just amazed after 30 years it still fits me. So that's pretty good. But yeah, so basically what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at the lineups for this weekend, our picks, which won't be all that much different from the other day. Maybe they will be now we've seen the lineups. And any other sort of breaking sort of news. I can give one about the Hurricanes. Apparently Ruben Love will be out for about 4 to 6 weeks, which is a bit of a shame because everyone was looking forward to seeing him, sort of put his hand up and go, I'm ready for the All Blacks and all that sort of stuff. So if he's watching, get well soon, Ruben Love. But otherwise, I will have Mike on shortly. He's just sorting himself out. But what we can start looking at is the fixtures for this weekend, of course. And as we've said on Tuesday, kicks off tomorrow night, 7:05 at the stadium, currently known as Sky Stadium, but I think it's in March or April. The name will be changing to Henry Stadium. But we'll have the Hurricanes taking on Moana Pacifica. And then after that, 7:35 Australian time, we have the Waratahs will be taking on the Drua. And Mike is just sorting out his curtains so he can be in front of the computer with his shirt off. But here we go. Good morning, Mike.
Morning. How are we?
Oh, good. What do you think? It still fits me. 30 years on.
The old Hurricanes top, eh?
Yeah. I'm quite impressed.
I might have to buy myself a Highlanders top soon.
Oh, yeah, you can't beat the old traditionals, though. I mean, classic, yeah, good on them. But, hey, they missed the boat keeping the prices at $150, $160. When they came on board, I was really hoping the price of the jerseys were going to drop so supporters could get behind their team. But no, they decided to bring out every other sort of shirt, like basketball shirts, baseball shirts, gridiron shirts. Just give us a shirt that we can afford to wear to our games. That's all I ask. I mean, you can sell 100 shirts for $50 or sell 5. What makes more money?
Yeah, certainly the price of apparel seems to have gone up in the last couple of years, but that's what it is, I suppose.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Afterpay, I wouldn't have many. Put it that way. I'd rather drip feed it off than pay $150 up front. But just saying that we'll be, this is our sort of Super Rugby show on a Thursday. We'll be doing this moving forward throughout the season. I was just going through what the games were. Of course, Hurricanes, Waratahs. And then tomorrow night, we've got the Highlanders taking on the Chiefs down there in Dunedin. The Force taking on the Blues. And then on Sunday afternoon, we've got the Crusaders taking on the Brumbies. So out of those games, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, the Hurricanes and the Chiefs. There's a bit going on at the moment. We're busy down here, but that's all right. Hurricanes and Chiefs. That's not Hurricanes. Highlanders and Chiefs, and the Crusaders and Brumbies. Couple of surprise selections in the teams. I was having a look at them yesterday, and there's a couple of surprise selections and a couple of people on the bench that I thought wouldn't have been on the bench. And obviously, Ruben Love's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Angus Tattavell is on compassionate leave. The death of his wee boy, which is pretty sad. But yeah, no, looking forward to it. Another round of rugby, another week closer to club season.
Yeah, no, that's true. And yes, we must not acknowledge the fact, thoughts and everything goes out to the Tattavell family. It was terrible news to hear that. Just love and strength to them all, really. But I suppose we better move on and talk about what we've got. And but first off, we do need to give a shout out to Mr. Flavel and the team at Foursquare Friends. Joseph, our new major naming rights sponsor. Still waiting for that white bait to show up in the chili bin at my address, but that's all good. Again, thanks for coming on board, and also to everyone on YouTube watching. Throw comments in and all that sort of stuff. We don't have QR codes and all that, so ask away. But I do have a surprise for us, and this is the surprise. I have found PDF that shows you what shirts everyone's wearing every week. Believe it or not. So I'll just pull this up because, everyone wears blue and everyone wears red. So the Hurricanes this weekend will be wearing their predominantly black against the sky blue of the Moana Pacifica. And then we've got the sky blue playing the, darker blue of the Drua. The Highlanders will be wearing their fancy kit against the away strip of the Chiefs. The Blues will be wearing their 30th anniversary shirt against the standard Western Force. And then the thing that got me, though, watching this the other day, I'm going to keep a close eye on this because the Brumbies shirt last weekend was not like that. It had more of a thicker yellow bar around it. And I'm thinking, is that their classic jersey? But I thought this might have been their classic jersey. So I suppose we just have to wait until Sunday to see what they're wearing. But it's pretty good. I didn't realise the referees had a changed shirt as well. So tomorrow night the referee will be wearing white, and then in every other game they'll be wearing green. So if you're like picking horses and you like colours, we'll show you this every week to show you what the shirts are they're meant to be wearing this weekend. So anyway, let's get straight into it. Of course, we'll start with the Hurricanes versus Moana Pacifica at the Sky Stadium here in Wellington. The weather's meant to be okay, but it's been a bit wet, but the weather should be all right hopefully tomorrow night. Might be a bit of wind around. So out of that starting lineup, and I'll blow it up so we can all see it properly. So we've got Xavier Numia, Xavier Numia, Safo Amua, and Saali Lawaki in the front row. Hugo Plummer and Warner Dearns there in the locks. Devon Flanders, Peter Larkai, and Braden Oasi at the backs. And then we've got the interesting thing, and I think it might be part of this, how many games All Black can start, because Irianari is starting at scrum half. Brett Cameron there at first five. Geordie Barrett's coming straight back into the fold. We've got Fihi on the wing, Josh Morby on the other wing, and Balin Sutherland joining Barrett and Callum Harkin in the at fullback. And then at the substitutes, we've got Jacob Devery, Puri Rakadi Stones, who's, of course, leaving end of the season, Tavato Mefaleo, Mataloa Pitaya, Brad Shields. Great to see him back on the bench after breaking his finger in pre-season. Arisi Palico, Cam Roygard will come off the bench at some point with Billy Proctor. So, any surprises there for you with the Canes?
No. obviously the All Blacks are starting to come back into their respective clubs. They're being managed, their workloads are being managed, and it looks like everyone's slotting in at different times. But I'm excited to see Warner Dearns is obviously making his debut in the second row. I think he's going to go well this year. He's a big, tall, rangy block. He's got a lot of speed for a loose forward. Brett Cameron, well, it's time for him to put his hand up, and obviously with Ruben Love out, I think he can make hay while the sun shines. Geordie Barrett, it'll be interesting to see how he goes, and obviously we've got Duplessis Carriffy, yet to come back. I think he's got a calf strain or a calf tear, so he's a couple of weeks away from what I've heard. So yeah, no, it's time for the Hurricanes to push the go button and get some points on the board and get some game time under their belts.
Yeah, well, I do have some notes from the Canes. I mean, last time they played Moana Pacifica, of course, they won 64-12 when they last met. But there's been more than 70 points scored by these teams in the last couple of meetings. So, I mean, after the great performance by Moana, and we'll get to their team in a moment, do you think, I mean, this is a game that the Canes will need to hit the ground running, won't they? They'll need to pump the points on to make a statement, yeah?
Yeah, well, they'll need to win it. They can't really not win it. They need to win it and get points on the board and get up the ladder. The way Moana Pacifica are playing at the moment, nothing's off the table. They could come out and upset the Hurricanes, but I think I picked the Hurricanes in that game, possibly. But obviously, Moana have had more game time, but I'm not too sure how much that's going to count towards anything. But I'm really excited to see these two teams go ahead. I noticed Miracle Faialungi's on the bench this week.
Yeah, I know, and he was my go-to guy in the rugby fantasy last week. So, and as I said, we'll get to them in a moment. We'll just carry on a little bit. This is the first opening home game for the Hurricanes, also since 2021, which has been a long time between drinks. It's been, it's sort of. They've often started away from home. So, hopefully that will be a benefit for them. They can sort of just cruise on into it. Out of the starting lineup, because you get points for this rugby fantasy thing of minutes played and all that sort of stuff, who would be your picks here? We'll go for 3 in each game to help people who are playing that fantasy rugby game. Because I have taken Brett Cameron as my captain, which will give you double points, but I've taken him in my squad this week as one, and also Geordie Barrett. And so if I was going to throw a third one in there, I'd probably go as an outsider, Peter Larkai. That would be my 3 Hurricane picks for fantasy rugby. How would you think?
Yeah, well, I'm not involved in that yet. I'm sitting on the fence about it. But if I was to do it, it'd be Cameron Barrett and probably Warner Dearns as my roughie. But even a SUPER Moore, he's you could put him in there. There's opportunities are endless.
No, it certainly is. So anyway, we'll move to the Moana Pacifica team, and in the front row we've got Abraham Pole, Samuela Moli, Feliti Sataufa. I'm going to get these names right by the end of the season, I can tell you that, and apologies to those listening. And in the locks we've got Vikosa Poloniata, Alafiso Aho, and then in the back row, Samisi Paya, Conrad Tolafoa, and Dominic Ropati. And then in the backs, we've got Siosi Ningini, Patrick Pellegrini, Falato Pine, Glenn Faiu, Tuna Tuatama, Israel Leota, and Simon Talafoa. So, in their reserves, and as you've already pointed out, the captain Miracle Whaalangi, he's there on the reserve bench with Mamora Harada, which is interesting because you've got Warner Dearns, the Japanese captain, playing off against Mamora, who's also a Japanese international. I'm just trying to think when the last time we might have two Japanese internationals playing off head-to-head in a game of Super Rugby.
Yeah. No, that's probably a first, isn't it? Yeah. I see William Harvey's on the bench as well. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, he became the first Moana Pacifica player to reach 50 caps last week. So congratulations to him. Completely missed that on our stats call. But, I mean, Moana, they've won 3 games. I'll just quickly run through the other reserves there. Lalani, Falalifa, Alan Craig, Miracle, who we've spoken about, Malani Matafau, Harvili, and Tavita Ofa. But the thing is, with the Moana Pacifica side, they've actually won 3 of their last 6 away games. And that's not a bad record in Super Rugby.
No, it's not. They're starting to get a better away record than the Fijian Drua in the last couple of years. I notice Aaron Major's not in the coaching setup this year either.
No, but Glenn Jackson's still there. With Drua, sorry.
I mean Moana. I think Aaron Major was in there last year, wasn't he, with Tana Umaga?
Yeah. He was. But I suppose, though, when we think about Moana, Julian Savia, I thought he might have been on the bench for this game. I'm sure he is still floating around, I believe. No, they've picked a very strong squad. Tana is very astute, of course. Hurricane legend he is. But after last year, in the game, in the actual Super Rugby, no pre-season rubbish, the Canes did win by 50. Do you think Moana have it in them to turn around a 50-point defeat from last season?
That's a good question. Well, we know in the game of rugby anything's possible, and it's going to take, all it's going to take is someone to break the game open, and the momentum's going to swing like a pendulum. But yeah, I'm picking the Hurricanes, but it'll be good to see Moana Pacifica get up and have another win. That'll do their confidence a world of good.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Canes, of course. I mean, go figure. But I'm going to go the Canes to win by at least 20. I think that they'll come out firing, like bulls out of the gate, and I think that they could be interesting to watch. So for those, again, playing the fantasy one, out of the starting 15, because I actually dropped Miracle only because he's on the bench, right? And you do get points for minutes played and all that sort of stuff. But who would be your three picks for people watching the show from the Moana team?
Patrick Pellegrini, he'd be one, and I'm going to take 2 off the bench. I'm going to take Miracle Whaalangi and William Harvey.
Okay. Well, I'd definitely go Pellegrini too. I think this young fella, Israel Leota, has something on the wing that stands out for me, and maybe even as a roughie, Samisi Paya on the flank. So Leota, Pellegrini, and Paya for me there in the what do you call it? Fantasy 3, we'll call it. So that is them. I'm going 20 plus. Give me margin.
15 plus to the Hurricanes.
Okie dokie. And also to Kelvin Loy. Yep, talking about team selections right now, Kelvin. So enjoy and ask any other questions. So the next matchup after that is the Waratahs taking on the Drua. in Sydney, 9:30 New Zealand kickoff time, and we'll have we sort of poo-pooed the Waratahs at the beginning of the season, and we were all pretty much leaning towards Queensland Reds, weren't we?
Mm.
Has that gone out the window? Are we now just focusing on the Waratahs? Because they've got a strong squad. Their starting 15 is Tom Lambert, Ethan Dobbins and Daniel both are in the front row. Miles Amato-Serio and Matt Phillip in the locks. Ollie Hanneran, Charlie Gamble and Pete Samu. And then you got Jake Gordon, Lawson Crichton, Max Jorgensen, Joey Walton, Joseph Suala, Harry Potter weaving his magic, and James Hendren in the back line. And then on the bench, they got Fakite Whakanuku, Isaac Kalia, Satiki Amoni, Angus Blythe, Lotu Talaua, Teddy Wilson, Jack Deprenishi, and Tristan Riley. I have actually put Miles Amorosi in my fantasy team this week, only because he had a good game last week. And I've kept Charlie Gamble because he was worthy of the points. The Waratahs, are we going to be, they do play well at home and they are playing Fiji Drua. Your thoughts on the prospects of the Waratahs?
Well, that's a pretty strong squad, isn't it? And I think they're up. Are they up first on the table or second on the table? They might be second, are they?
I think they're second on the table at the moment, behind the Brumbies. Yeah.
Yeah. You got Lawson Crichton, you got Suali, Jorgensen, far out.
Yeah, I had him. I've got him in my team. That's who the other one was. Scored me plenty of points with his tries last week.
Yeah. Harry Potter, but isn't Jorgensen playing out of his skin? He's got that much speed to burn. He's just running around them. It's unbelievable. The amount of speed that boy's got.
I'm wondering if it was a case scenario of now he's signed that contract and he's settled for the next 2 or 3 years with Australia Rugby. It's lifted something off his shoulders and he's just like, I am now here.
Yeah, well, he's just, he's just playing his natural game. He's not going out and doing anything stupid. He's looking for work. He's injecting himself at the right time. And I'm going to pick the Waratahs I did pick the Waratahs to win this. But if we cast our minds back a couple of years and when these two sides last met in Lautoka, that was probably one of the best games I've ever seen, and it was won by Fiji and drew a drop goal by Remu Valentini. But what a game that was. I think it might have went to extra time, and then Waratahs had a shot at a drop goal, and they missed, and then all of a sudden Fiji break out and end up down the other end of the field, and the Fiji won it. But if Fiji bring their A game, this game's got the potential to actually be a really physical, fast-paced game.
Oh, totally, and hopefully the weather, plays ball as well, because the weather in Sydney can be up and down quite a lot, and they did have a lot of rain last year from memory, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So we'll go to the Drua side, and I have actually thrown into my team for this week on the fantasy Hariti Hitet in the front row, but then you got Cyril Tongetama, Masaki Dogue, Isoa Nasalia, Timo Maya Navanua, Joseph Tamani, Motaki Murray, Eli Kanakavata, and Frank Lamani there as co-captain. At number 10, Isaiah Armstrong Ravula, and on the wings you got Tanila Rakura, Ponapa Longamasi, in the centres Izakeli Rabatu and Turdraki Samu Vodri, and then at fullback Alesi Droasi. similar squad they had last week, and but a strong bench with Matali, Fines, Leawasa, Samuela Tawaki there, also on the bench. Will they have their... This is the thing with the Drua, isn't it? Will they have their passports with them?
Well, we all know their away record leaves a lot to be desired, but we need to start seeing something from these outside backs like Long and Amasi. You know, I know what he's capable of. Joe Sessi at the back. You know, these guys need to start firing because it's going to be a long competition if these star players don't start stepping up and doing something. And I think it's good that Armstrong Ravula's in at 10. He's got a good boot on him. But yeah, we need to see something from the Drua. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, definitely, and hopefully Jackson's got them fizzing after their defeat last week and had them doing a few beach runs, etc., up the sand dunes there in Fiji, because they just didn't get into that game last week against Moana Pacifica, did they? I mean, they sort of took their time to get into it, and before they knew it, they were 14 points down.
Yeah, no, I think they were a bit starstruck last week, or something's going on. But yeah, it was just an incredibly slow start to a game, and when Moana Pacifica are firing, you can't give them any leeway, and they just come out and played a better game, and won the game, and left the Drua standing.
Yeah, no, that's too true. And I mean, the thing is, they who was it? New South Wales. They won 28-14 in their last meeting. It was the Waratahs' actually first win against the Drua. Just having a quick look at my notes here. But, you know, we've mentioned that the Fiji Drua have lost 23 Super Rugby away games and conceding an average of 40-odd points in those games. I mean, they won their first game against Moana Pacifica, and that was it, really. You know, they just don't seem to... I mean, they've got the meters, the most... it's sort of... I think if you're looking at your top three in this, I mean, Manasseh Matali, who's on the bench, he got a round high in the fantasy for line breaks and stuff like that. Tom Lambert for the Waratahs, he got the most tackles, because you get points for that stuff as well, you know. So if I was going to pick my three players for the Drua, for those playing the fantasy rugby, I'd probably go for Matali off the bench. And you just have to take the number 10 because they're worth points if they get, you know, their boot on. So I'd go Armstrong, Ravula, and then Joassi at fullback.
Yep. I'm pretty much the same. Well, you got to put number 10 in.
Yeah.
And Long and Amasi and Joassi would be my other two.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this fantasy rubbish thing they've got going, is that you can only have one number 10, right? So you've really got to start looking at the games that are being played against whom, because, you know, I mean, last week, if we had all taken the guy from the Brumbies against the Force, you know, he was worth like 100 points or something stupid, because he got so many points off the boot and stuff like that. So, I mean, you know, myself, I didn't have any players in that game, in the Force Brumbies game, and I was like flying high until that last game, because I think everyone had Brumbies players, because I just went straight down to the cellar after the fifth game. So I was trying to spread my players around a bit this week to try and stay with the pack, as they say. So anyway, at home, I'm going to inflict pain on the Drua fans. I'm going to say the Waratahs will win this by 13 plus.
Yeah, I've taken the Waratahs too. I'll go 20 plus.
And then we go to Dunedin for the big game between the Highlanders and the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are on a 7-game winning streak, scoring 40 points in the last 2 meetings against the Highlanders. The Highlanders squad is Ethan de Groot, Jack Taylor, Rowan Wyndham, Oliver Haig, Mitch Dunshay, TK Howden, Sean Willie, and Lucas Casey. And captain tomorrow, or on Saturday, is Falau Fakatava. Cam Miller, he just proved his worth last week. Tamochi Tavatavanawai, they're in the centres with Jonah Lowe. I've got Jonah Lowe down there twice. My mistake, people. And then we've got Jacob Netkins at fullback and Caleb Tangatau. I just have to quickly see. I thought I double-checked all those, And I've got Jonah Lomu playing in 2 positions. So I'll just quickly jump into here to tell you who I missed and buggered up there. Jonah Nariki. That'll be why. Jonah. So, yeah, and Nariki there on the left. So I will fix that up on our Facebook page after the show. So apologies for that, everybody. And then on the bench, we've got Henry Bell, Josh Bartlett, Sefo Korte, Will Stoddart, Vivini Lasanga, Adam Lennox, Rezjan Pasatoa, and Tanali Talia. Right. The Highlanders coming off the big, huge win against the Crusaders last week. Do you think that they will have any options there? I mean, Tavanawai was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah. Where's Levanini?
He's not there.
Yeah, imagine recruiting an international star of 300 plus caps and not playing him.
I know. Well, again, is it injury? Is it just what, or is he under some instruction? A lot of these guys are hired and then don't play or don't fit in once I've got signed on the dotted line. It is a good question to ask. This is going to be game of the round, this one. Under the roof there in Forsyth Bar. The Highlanders have only won 1 of their last 6 home games against the Chiefs, a draw and 4 losses. They haven't won at home to the Chiefs since the opening round of the 2020 Super Rugby competition, Aotearoa campaign. And they're looking for their first back-to-back wins since 2021. Now, I'm going to go the Highlanders here, only because I was not that convinced with the Chiefs, even though we'll get to the Chiefs team in a moment. But there was just something about the way they came together. They learned from last year where they lost several games by several points, right? And they've really worked hard on how do we close this game out. And they're doing a bit like what the Wellington Phoenix are doing. They are pushing everything forward. You know what I mean? Everything goes forward, even the goalkeeper in bloody soccer, which I cringe at, right? But when in the past they might have just tried to close it down, run, they will have a crack even if they're on their 22 to run it out and to like all out full press court thing. And they nailed it against the Crusaders last week.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They are backing themselves. I noticed it a lot as well. Their back three are working well together. They're backing themselves. They're running it out instead of kicking it. It's when they get their combinations going, they're a great team to watch. They've got some game breakers like Tangitau's just been unreal. Netkins has got speed to burn, I think this game's going to be a fast-paced game. There's going to be a lot of running. The Chiefs will do exactly the same. Hopefully, there's less kicking and more running.
Well, my 3 here would be Jack Taylor at hooker, and Cam Miller. If you haven't picked up first 5 yet, Cam Miller definitely. And I would go Tavanawai in the centres. it was a toss-up between him and Tangata. But his break speed, his bursting out of the tackles is another thing. You know, you get points for, I don't know, doing up your shoelaces at half time with your left hand, I believe. You get points for everything. But I think he will be, he'll burst through quite a lot of these chief defence tackles. And so that would be my three. Who would be your top three to look out for?
Mitch Dunshay, Lucas Casey, and Flair Whakatawa.
Oh, okay, going for the four. Well, that's good because we haven't really said many locks yet. So hopefully that will please our fantasy followers. And of course, we're doing this all because of the help with our friendly team at, because it was his idea to talk about fantasy. We're doing this for our team down there at Franz Joseph Foursquare on the West Coast. So again, thanks for the idea. So we'll go to the Chiefs, Chiefs side, and we've got Jared Prophet there, Samasoni Takaaho, who I had last week, George Dyer in the front row, Josh Lord and Tupai Vai. I've actually brought Tupai Vai into my squad this week. And then we've got Caden Bashir, Jerome Brown, and Luke Jacobson. Xavier Rowe is still there at halfback. Josh Jacob is still there because Mackenzie went off and had a baby, same as Bowden Barrett. I tell you, those two guys can do everything. They can kick goals, run games, and have babies. Quinta Paya and Daniel Arona in the centres. Leroy Carter and Kyron Tamafawala on the wing, and Atini Nanai Saturo. And then on the bench, we've got Tyrone Thompson, Bennett Kumara, Ruben O'Neill, Sususi Natoa Akoi, Simon Parker, Triple T, Tapai Cook Savage, and Amoni Nanarawa. I'll have to get in touch with Triple T and say, did you get some new wheels? Because he ran out of wheels playing for the Maoris last year. I gave him crap about it, and he didn't like it, saying he's getting old. But it's great to see him on the bench. Ex-All Black, of course. Thoughts there?
Strong squad, isn't it? Another strong squad. I think you pretty much have to be full strength when you're going down to play a Highlanders team that are riding high in confidence, and you know as they said on social media last week, the zoo at Forsyth Bar is alive and well. The students are in town causing havoc, and yeah, they live for it. They absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
Yeah, it's going to be the game. Yeah, it's going to be the game of the round.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will be wanting to have a really awesome Saturday night as well. You know, 2 weekends in a row to recreate last weekend's celebrations, eh?
Yep. Yeah. There'll be a few beverages consumed down there, I'd say, and a few pies eaten, and whatever else they're into, noodles, I suppose.
Noodles. So anyway, my three here, as I said, Samasoni Takaaho, who got a try last week, Tupai Vai, and who would be my third pick? I'd have to say Leroy Carter. And the only reason I'm sort of saying I'm a bit with the Chiefs is it did come out earlier this week about the try scored last week when they jumped the ruck. And I just want to put it out here that when that happened, I thought you couldn't do that, right? And now it's come out saying he should not have done that. Sure, we're up against the TMOs and we bitch and moan about the TMOs, but it was something the TMO could A, not comment on unless the referee asked, and B, it made me think about all those times you see someone diving for the corner flag to score a try who was jumping over a what do you call it? A tackler. Thoughts on that? I just thought I heard someone at the door. So go.
I don't really like the idea of what they're doing.
Yeah,
I don't.
I mean,
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't really like the idea of scoring tries like that. It's just, yeah, it's just doesn't sit right with me. And I think Tupou Vai should have known. He probably could have found another avenue, but he jumped over the whole lot of them and then gestured to his head as if to say, "You need to use your head, boys."
yeah. Well, the other thing though is that I was talking to a chap yesterday from Club Rugby, site I also work for, and we was thinking about putting together like a montage, risking the montage of tries scored in the corner, and how many of them were legal. I mean, if the guy's going under a tackler, that's fine, but you do often see the guy jumping to avoid the tackle. To me, that is going to be bringing up a lot of questions, I think, moving forward after last weekend's try. And I'm trying to make a bit of a thing about it, but I think it should be looked at, because if they turn around and go, yes, that should not have been a try, are we going to see a lot more stoppage with TMO looks at these tries in the corner?
Well, I'm surprised the TMO didn't intervene, but it's probably a good thing that he didn't. But yeah, it's caused a bit of a stir, hasn't it? It's but you can't change it now. I think we just need to do better. We just need to do better in the future.
Yeah, in the famous words of Steve Hansen, flush the dunny and move on. So we will. Yep. So 7:35 kickoff. 9:35 kickoff. After that, over there in Perth, which is what, a 4 o'clock game. So it's an afternoon game. Might be stinky hot over there in Perth. And we've got the Blues taking on the Western Force. And the Blues, their lineup is Josh Fusatua, Bradley Slater, Marcel Renata, Lachlan McFunnell, Josh Beer, and then we've got Anton Signer, Dalton Papali'i, who has just announced that he's leaving at the end of the season. Hoskins Satutu is still there. Finley Christie, still there. Stephen Perifetta out of the Wanganui, he's at number 10. Peter Archie, AJ Lamb in the centres. Caleb Clark offers amazing sporting moment of listening to his father sing a song and getting an award for it. On the wing, Cole Forbes and Zahn Sullivan there over in the on the bench, and then at fullback, and then on the bench we've got Kirk Eklund, the captain of Bay of Plenty, Mason Tapia, Offa Tuangavasi, who's not a bad one to come off a bench, Shay Clark, Torian Barnes, who they're screaming about up in Auckland. They just think he's the next best thing since sliced bread. Sam Knock out of Northland, Zavi Tardy, and Cody Vai. The Blues, the champions of the world, beaten by the Chiefs at home. So the last time the Blues, they're unbeaten in the last 13 games against the Force. Are they going to make it 14?
Oh, I didn't pick them, but there's a high chance that they could make it 14.
Actually, 12 wins and a draw.
Obviously, if things were different last week, they probably would have got close to winning it or at least drawing it, but that wasn't to be. But it's Vern's last year in charge, so he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, well, the last time the Force beat them was back in 2000. Well, the only time they've beaten them was back in round 5 in 2008. But, I mean, the last win against a New Zealand team was, believe it or not, against the Highlanders back in round 8 last year in 2025. But they are winless in their last 4 home games, a draw and 3 losses over there in Perth. They'll be wanting to put their hands up and say, hey, we are, for their fans to keep their Blue Army alive. But they're coming up a team that's won 25 of their last 28 Super Rugby games.
Not a bad record, is it?
Yeah, even though we give them shit, because they are the Blues and they deserve all the shit thrown at them. Um, yeah, I think the Force could be not a happy camper team at the end of it, but they do have a team that could do it. I mean, they got Tom Robinson, Braden Ponga, Amosa, and Harry Johnson-Holmes on the front row. They've got Franco Molina, the Argentinian, there with Darcy Swain. Jeremy Williams is leading them from the flank. Carlo Tizzano, Australia's Super Rugby Player of the Year last year, I believe. And Violina Ikusa at number 8. But then, it all comes down to the first fives. And, of course, Nathan Hasse at halfback. But Ben Donaldson, on his day, can change a game. And then in the centres, you got Hamish Stewart and George Bridge, who I was quite impressed with last week against the Brumbies. He was out there looking for work. Bailey Kunzel and David Palu and Matt Greeley at fullback. And then their benches are another Argentinian, Lionel Oviedo, Sefa Angasi, Masani Ipinisa, Party Fafua, Kane Koteka, Henry Robinson, Max Burry, and the ageless Kurtley Beale. If Ben Donaldson's on form, would the Force have a chance against the Blues?
I think a Force team on form, but especially with Ben Donaldson on form, they've got every shot. At winning. At winning that game. It'll be interesting to see how the Blues cope with the heat and the travel. I think they left yesterday or the day before, so they'll want to get over there a day or so before and get settled in. But yeah, it's hard to go over there and win. The Western Force are a very passionate side. Simon Cron's come out and said that they want to pack the park in blue, and how much they value the support of the community. So in saying that, I'll pick the Force to win by 10 plus.
Okay. I'll pick only because I'll never pick the Blues. So it makes it really easy for me. But I'll pick the Force to win by 6 and under. I think it'll be close. And maybe a late try, them being 5 points down or 6 points down, and a late try conversion to take it on the buzzer. There we go. That'd be worth staying up for late at night on a Saturday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, past my bedtime, I'll be snoring by then.
Oh, don't forget, there's also Six Nations, but we're not talking about Six Nations on our Thursday show. And then, of course, on Sunday, you can get out of bed in time to watch the Crusaders take on the Brumbies. And the Crusaders, they really need to bounce back. 13 of their last 14 games against the Brumbies they've conceded 31 points in their last 2 games against them, and then holding them to fewer than 30 points in the previous 16 encounters. And then the Crusaders, who have won the last 12 games against the Brumbies in New Zealand, haven't lost to them since round 12 in 2000.
Yeah, well, Sunday afternoon footy's back. How good? At the old Scaffold Stadium there.
Yeah, well, they've still got 2 or 3 games. Yeah, they've still got 2 or 3 games to go there. So their forward pack is Finlay Brewis, George Bell and Fitch and Newell, Antonio Shelfoon, Jamie Hanna, and then you got Dom Gardner, Ethan Blackadder, and Christian Leo Willie. At scrum half, Noah Hotham keeps the place with Rivas Rihana, who I dropped him for this week out of my fantasy team, but just goes to show what I know, because he's been given another chance to start. David Harvili and Braden Enor there in the centres, Sevu Reese and Shea Fihaki, and Will Jordan will start the match after his impressive performance coming off the bench. And then you look at their pitch. I mean, a lot of teams would die to have this bench in their starting lineup with Cody Taylor, Tamati Williams, Seb Calder, Taylor Cahill, Corey Kello, Louis Chapman, Taha Kamara, and Lester Whainuku. They've got some nuclear weapons on that bench, do they not?
Yeah, it's good to see Tamati Williams back. I was a bit surprised about Lester Whainuku, but he didn't really do much last week. Who else have we got? I see Dallas McLeod's been admitted.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a typical Crusaders squad. It'll be interesting to see how they use their reserves this week. Obviously, last week there was they brought their bomb squad on, and then Jamie Joseph brought two of our bomb squad players on and swung the momentum of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see what impact they have. Obviously, Cody Taylor shouldn't be giving away any stupid penalties this week.
I'm just wondering if that guy's on the bench.
Well, yeah, he was on the bench last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, but then, I would have expected him to start this match. But, I mean, Crusaders have won their last 5 games against teams from Aussie, and the Brumbies have lost 3 of their last 4 games against teams from New Zealand. So, for me, I always freak when the Hurricanes play the Brumbies. That's my devil game of any Super Rugby season. But I think the Crusaders will bounce back and take this one out as we have a quick look at who they're coming up against. And when you look at this lineup for the Brumbies, I mean, they'll be here already. With James Slipper, Billy Pollard and Reece Van Nieck in the front row, with Lockie Shaw and Cadron Neville in the locks, Rob Valentini and Rory Scott on the flank, Charlie Cahill, who had a great game against the Force at number 8, and then we've got Ryan Lonergan and Declan Meredith, who was kicking them from everywhere as well last weekend at scrum and first 5. David Wheluua and Caden Pritchard in the centres, and then you've got Corey Toole and Ollie Sapsford out of the, of course, Hawke's Bay, and Andy Muirhead at fullback. And their bench, Liam Bowen, Blake Shoup, Tavita Alatini, Toby McPherson, Luke Raymer, Clayton Thorne, Tane Edmund, and Hudson Crichton. When Tane Edmund came on, or was last week when he was playing, I reckon that was one of the better games I've seen him play.
Yeah, his form's been patchy over the last wee while. Obviously, he was at the Waratahs and he had a stint at North Harbour, and now he's with the Brumbies. But, you got people like Corey Toole. He's got speed to burn. He's a game breaker. James Slipper's bringing up his 200th game, which is an amazing achievement. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Crusaders front row go against that front row, because that's a very, very experienced front row for the Brumbies. Slipper will be looking to put the pressure on, and hopefully Tamati Williams comes on and has a go. They have a ding dong as well. But I don't support the Crusaders, so I'll pick the Brumbies by 10 and under. I think it was.
Well, because it's their third to last game before they move to the new stadium, Te Kaha, in Christchurch there. Every game is like the final game. They don't want to. They want to leave that place with a pretty much an unbeaten record, don't they? So I'll go the Crusaders to win this by 12 and under myself. I think it will be a really close game, afternoon game, but of course it depends on if the northwester blows in and all that sort of stuff. So so that is our Super Rugby preview. What do you think? Should we do this every Thursday?
Yeah, why not? I'm happy to jump on as long as I'm around and haven't got much on. Obviously club season's ramping up down here now. We're fully in the swing of it. The draws have come out for the respective Luzetti combined competition, the Waters Cup competition. Draws are out, so we're all aiming for that opening round on the 21st of March. for the
Yeah,
Wallace
well,
Cup, and then the Luzetti Seeds competition starts for us the week after. We're hosting Glenmark Cheviot, so that's going to be a humdinger.
yeah, well, after having my chat last week with ex-Mid Canterbury CEO Tanya Dearns at lunch, name drop, that's Warner Dearns' mum. She was saying to me about the Luzetti, for people that don't know, it is actually one of the largest club competitions in New Zealand, covering 3 provinces. And she goes, I don't know if you know about it. And I go, yeah, I do. I love it. I love watching it. When you can get the chance to see stuff on TV or on YouTube or live streams. So they'll be interesting. But I suppose, though, the breaking news would be, is a certain Mr. Dan Carter going to play for Southbridge?
Yeah, well, Southbridge have got their Jubilee coming up, and Riccara have got theirs coming up. I wouldn't put it past him to put the boots on and have a run around. You know, he's a proud Southbridge boy, and his dad hails from the same club and has done a lot for the club and the town. But yeah, no, it's going to be great for those 2 clubs to have. I've seen the itinerary, and there's some pretty exciting stuff going on, I think. But yeah, no, the combined competition, it's a great competition, and it includes a lot of clubs, and it's always fiercely contested.
Yeah. And also, talking about club competitions, they are all starting to sort of gear up towards the club season. I mean, we're still only on the 19th of February. A lot of these comps don't start until April, but we're talking about them now. The West Coast Buller apparently are going to be in a combined comp again, so keep an eye out for that. We'll do a bit of a fun tipping comp on that, I think. And but yeah, it's sort of it's all steam ahead, and we can do. And I'm just looking at the timer now. We're at 58 minutes, so we can do an hour show on a Thursday, just talking about 5 games of rugby.
Yeah, and I've had word that the Mid Canterbury squad that's going to contest the Ranfurly Shield is in training already.
Yeah.
So they're going to be training an extra night or an extra couple of nights a week over and above the players' club training and commitments, and I think they are going to use the same loan players last year that we had last year. But yeah, that will all be confirmed closer to the time.
Well, yeah, and as you well know, my biggest dream is for a Heartland team to upset one of those NPC sides just once, just to bring the Ranfurly Shield into Heartland, and we just have to say Heartland because no one knows who the sponsor is yet. I've spoken to a couple of CEOs, and they're going, "Have you heard anything, Rabs?" And I'm going, well, why would I hear anything? You're the CEOs. You're the ones that sign off on all this stuff. So I've got an idea who it might be, but I don't want to be completely wrong and throw the cat amongst the pigeons. So
might be Ray White, Bunnings Heartland competition.
Well,
no, can't have that.
No, I think there might be a bit more money behind it, but then they don't have any money. That's why I do know they're looking at 1 o'clock kickoffs for Heartland Rugby this year, so teams can get home early. So the away teams can get home the same day. So keep an eye out for that draw coming up. Otherwise, that's us. That's an hour right now. So we'll leave it with that. Good luck with your picks this weekend. And, don't have too many raros.
Always a pleasure.
All right. So catch us all Tuesday, 11 o'clock, and we'll see how badly we went today. Cheers.
See you later, mate. Bye.
Bye.